Good afternoon and welcome back to Kuala Lumpur. I don't have any big travel plans for today, but what I'm doing is testing something brand new that I bought for my GoPro camera. It's very exciting and I'll show you what it is and I'll show you what it can do. So this is a demonstration of what my new toy can do. Part of the toy, to give you a hint, is on top of the camera, and the other part of this toy is down here on my belt. And now watch what happens as I move away from the camera. I'm moving away, getting farther and farther and farther. And if everything is working out, you should be able to still hear me perfectly clearly. So what did I buy for the GoPro? I bought a wireless microphone. It's called the Rode Wireless Go. It's a new microphone, came out just a few months ago, I think, and it's the first wireless microphone that I'm aware of that is this small and this convenient that someone like me can use it on a GoPro. I can't really show it to you right now because I'm shooting with the GoPro and it can't shoot itself unless I have a mirror somewhere. But maybe I can stick in a picture of the box right now. So this microphone has two parts. There is a receiver sitting on top of the GoPro, and then there is a transmitter which I have sitting here on my belt. The transmitter has its own microphone built into it, like a lavalier style microphone. So I could have this transmitter sitting up here on my neck. But so far I found that with this really thin shirt, I can't hang that transmitter here. It's very light for a wireless rig, but it's still too big and heavy and it kind of flops over. And I think it's actually too close to my mouth anyway. It's just not that efficient to use this transmitter up here unless I have a thicker shirt on or a jacket, or I could probably attach it here, you know, to my knapsack or something like that. But the really cool thing about this Rode Wireless Go is that not only does the transmitter have its own microphone, it also has an input jack, so you can plug a lavalier mic into it and use this as the transmitter and continue to use a regular lavalier mic like which I have here. It's the one I've been using all along. So that's what I'm using right now, and this is the very first time that I've had it out in the wild, and I'm using it next to quite a noisy river, and I'm curious to see what the sound is like. This Rode Wireless Go is just one of the many things that I've purchased since I returned to Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur for me is the city of construction, which I've talked about in the past. It's just, there's so many buildings in Kuala Lumpur being built at all times, and I run into construction everywhere I go. But for me, it is also, and maybe even more so, the city of shopping, because I've come here on a number of occasions when I needed to fix my camera, fix my bicycle, buy a new tent, buy a new sleeping bag, you know, buy a new mosquito net, all kinds of things. And I always seem to be shopping in Kuala Lumpur. So I bought my Rode Wireless Go just yesterday, and I spent the whole day learning about all the settings. It's a little bit confusing, a little complicated. The way most products work these days, you don't get big, thick manuals anymore. You buy it and you get a box, and inside is the microphone. You might get a tiny little quick start guide, and that's all you get. After that, you're kind of expected to figure it out on your own. So I spent the whole day trying to figure out how the thing works, what the proper settings are. I still really don't know everything I need to know. And like I said, this is the first time I've used it. So this is an exciting little experiment. What else? I also bought a brand new cage for the GoPro, and that was also quite exciting because, as you may or may not know, if you want to plug a microphone into a GoPro, you have to buy this big $50 adapter. And yet there's no way to attach it to the GoPro. It just plugs in and then dangles from the GoPro and flops around all over the place. And it's a kind of a giant pain in the butt. So YouTubers and vloggers, they find all these weird ways to attach the adapter to the GoPro. You know, they use Velcro, they use rubber bands, they use rope, you know, whatever they can do, they try and stick this thing onto the GoPro so it isn't flopping around and getting in the way. But a company called Ulanzi came up with a very interesting solution. I'd like to say GoPro came out with it, but no, they just let other companies deal with their design problems, apparently. Anyway, Ulanzi designed this GoPro cage that has a special rectangular compartment underneath, and the audio adapter brick, because it really is a brick, it's that big, slides into that box, and now it's all in one nice, neat unit. So that's basically what it looks like. And yeah, actually I had to spend a day or a couple of days tracking this thing down, buying it, you know, learning how to use it, having fun with it. And I also finally replaced my aging sandals. And that's kind of a funny story because I went to all these stores trying on different sandals, and they were all okay. You know, they're all kind of trekking sandals like Teva, brands like that. And I found them all to be either way too narrow for my feet or just plain uncomfortable. Like the Teva has all those Velcro straps. And I guess that's great if you're river running or mountain climbing. But just for walking around the city, they're actually kind of rough and they got sharp edges and they dig into your skin. They're just not quite comfortable city sandals, I find. Plus they have only Velcro models. So there's no stealth putting them on and taking them off. Every time you do that, you get that loud rip of the Velcro coming off and on. So I really didn't find any sandals that I was happy with. And then yesterday, right after buying the Wireless Go, I went to another store to try on some other sandals. And while I was trying them on and deciding that they were too narrow, the security guard came over, not the sales clerk, but the security guard. And he starts chatting with me about sandals, about, you know, what I'm looking for, what are my old sandals like, you know, basically acting as a sales clerk. And I told him my problem, that these sandals, all the sandals I'm finding are too narrow. And I showed him my current sandal falling apart, but they're nice and wide for my fat, wide feet. And he looked at those sandals and said, "We sell those." And I'm confused for a minute, and I said, "Well, what do you mean you sell those?" He said, "We sell those. You have Adidas black sandals. We have those on the shelf right here, the exact same ones you're wearing." So I followed him across the store, and there they were, a big display of the exact same sandals that I'm wearing now. I still have my old ones on right now. So these sandals right here, these Adidas sandals, this store was selling these exact same models. You know, no changes, no improvements or anything. And so I ended up buying a duplicate copy of the exact same sandals that I've been wearing for the last 2.5 years or however long it is. So it's another shopping adventure, and I've had lots more shopping adventures. As I said, that's all I do in Kuala Lumpur, and I think I have some more shopping ahead of me. We'll see how that goes, and I'll keep you informed. Something else exciting is that some of the people that watch my videos on YouTube have reached out to me, and I've been meeting up with some people. Yesterday I met with a subscriber from Switzerland who had come all the way to Malaysia for her holiday, And she came with her husband, children, and another family that they know, and they also had children. And we all got together last night and had dinner here in Chinatown. So that was really quite fun and a really new experience for me. And right now I'm walking to Pasar Seni station to meet up with another subscriber. And he's a young man who lives here in Malaysia. I think he's Malaysian, but I'm not exactly sure. And he has his own YouTube channel called Wander Eats. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check it out. And he likes to wander, as his name implies. He wanders around Kuala Lumpur, around all of Malaysia, in fact, and he looks for good food and things like that, good drinks, that kind of thing. And yeah, he calls himself Wander Eats, and I'm here to meet him at Pasar Seni, and we're going to go out and have a cup of coffee. And I'm pretty excited about that because there are about 7 or 8 like really nice cafes here right in this area, and I walk past them practically every day. And every time I walk past them, I think, oh, I should go in there and check this place out, and I never have. So today, Daryl from Wander Eats and I are going to go have a cup of coffee at one of these cafes. So we'll see what happens when he gets here. I don't know if I'll put him on the camera or not. I don't usually subject other people to being in my video, you know, but we'll see what happens. Daryl of Wander Eats and I have been messaging back and forth over the last couple of days about getting together for coffee. And I told him that I had a funny story about one of these coffee shops. And since I have a couple of minutes here, I thought I would tell you the story. This coffee shop is just around the corner here on Jalan Sultan, that very busy street with all the restaurants that open up and put tables on the sidewalks, you know, very popular thing to do here in Chinatown. And yeah, the coffee shop is called Vintage 1988, and it's quite new. In fact, as I found out, if you go to Google Maps, switch into the satellite view, and then go down to street level, you know, look at the street level, and you look at the picture of Vintage 1988, it's not there yet. It's actually under construction in the Google Maps imagery, which is kind of funny. They just have a door, there's no signage or anything, and you can even see a truck on the street full of construction material. So they're actually in the middle of building the cafe. So it really hasn't been open very long. The funny story is that when I first came to Kuala Lumpur, I don't even know how long ago it was now. It was a long time ago. I was staying at the same hostel, and I was not the technological marvel you see before you today. So I needed to go to an internet cafe to update my website and send email and do all these other things. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have anything. And there was an internet cafe right around the corner on Jalan Sultan Street. And right beside it was a laundromat. And these are like the two key things that I really needed back then. I needed to wash my clothes, so I would always have to find a laundromat nearby. I had more clothing back then, I guess, so I didn't actually do much hand washing. And I always had to go to the internet cafe. So these two places, that internet cafe and right beside it, a laundromat, were like the pillars of my existence here in Kuala Lumpur. And then one day I went out of the hostel intending to go to the internet cafe. I get there and I find that the place has burned to the ground. There's nothing there, it's just gone. I don't know where the fire started, but it burned down the internet cafe, burned down the laundromat, and I think it burned down 2 more businesses right beside it. So they were gone. And in its place, in the place of my internet cafe, they built the Vintage 1988 coffee shop. So a loss to the world of internet gamers, because that's pretty much all who ever went to that internet cafe, but a gain for coffee lovers. And Daryl and I might be going there today if it's not too busy and not too noisy. So we are here at Pasar Seni. Daryl has shown up from Wander Eats, and we're about to go have coffee.
Yep, sounds right.
I suggested checking out vintage 1988. You want to do that?
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at vintage 1988 first, see if it's not so crowded and we can have a coffee there. If not, we'll try somewhere else.
Yep.
So I told you guys about Wander Eats, his channel. Do you want to say anything about your channel, what it's about, what you do?
Well, mine is more of a little short burst of my travel experiences. So it's more on certain destinations, certain experiences, unlike yours, which is a really cool experience of your whole day in that sense. So that's what Wonder is all about. And I usually tend to only feature those that have good experiences with. I do film some, record some that turn out not to be such a good experience, which
Okay.
I do not publish.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
What I end up doing is shooting, 3 hours, and then I have to fight to get it down to 1 hour.
Yeah.
My long videos.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
But you're from Malaysia.
That's right, I'm from Malaysia. I'm originally from Penang, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I moved to Kuala Lumpur about, I think, close to 20 years ago. So, yeah.
Okay. Because I was watching your videos, and to be honest, I was listening to your accent, and there was something about it. I thought, is he Malaysian? I thought there was
I was in the US for quite a while. So.
Okay, that might explain it. I was wondering, is he from Malaysia or not? I couldn't quite figure it out. Okay, so you are Malaysian, and
Yep.
how long ago did you start Wander Eats?
I think about early last year, but I started as an experiment for cooking, things I love cooking at home and for my family. And things
Okay.
Like that. So, but eventually I started moving out to experiences and all that, and it seems to gather better viewership. So I continue to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, food and drinking.
Exactly.
It's very, very popular.
Exactly.
So I started doing a bit of that too.
Yeah.
I'm not that interested in food, as you might
Yes,
know,
yes,
but shooting. Whoa, I'm pointing it in the wrong way here. I'm not used to doing this, But yeah, because I'm shooting the video and I know people are watching now, it gives me a reason to try new food and things. So I kind of like it that way.
That's right. I also didn't want to come empty-handed, so this is the only thing I could think of that you appreciate.
Check it out. He knows me too well. Vanilla Coke, my favorite drink in the whole world. I appreciate that. That's very much. Maybe I'll save it to later.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll put it in the fridge or the freezer over there and have it as a snack later.
Cool.
Product placement. We're getting professional here for Vanilla Coke. Maybe they'll call us. That's great. Thank you. So, time to shut off the camera, and we're going to go have coffee and talk about life and cameras and YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
See you later.
Cheers.
I've arrived at vintage 1988. Daryl is already inside at the table. We've ordered coffee, but I realized I forgot to shoot the outside of it, so I thought I'd come back out for a second. And here it is across from me, all newly done, I think, vintage 1988. And as I said, this is where my internet cafe used to be, and right beside it was the laundromat. And this entire section of the street burned to the ground, which is quite a common thing to happen here in Chinatown, actually. I've seen a ton of fires, really bad ones, in the time I've been here. There's a sign for vintage 1988, and they have some ice cream, handmade, no artificial colorings and flavorings. And let's go inside and check out the interior. There's a beautiful counter here. And I guess you come to the counter first, place your order, and then move inside to a table, and then they will bring it to you. The front door is open to the outside, but even back here, you can still feel the air conditioning, so it's really comfortable inside here. Looks like that's their slogan, welcome to the good old days, vintage 1988. And there's Daryl with Wander Eats, getting ready for his coffee. So I ordered my standard a cappuccino, And what did the expert, what did Wander Eats get?
Not sure actually. I think it was a mocha. So yeah, it's a 3-layer mocha, so to speak. So we'll see. I'm
So
quite
you-
excited. In fact, I forgot to take the number.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about that. I saw the numbers out there. I think you order, take the number, and bring it to your table. And Daryl forgot to bring our number. I was wondering where our number was.
Yeah.
Our letter, I guess, letter C.
Oh, okay.
She was looking for you.
Thank you. Oh, look at that.
And there it is. So that, you said that's a triple layer mocha.
Yeah.
What makes a mocha?
With green tea at the bottom. Yeah.
So what makes a mocha a mocha?
I think it's the mixture of chocolate, right?
It's chocolate. Okay.
This should be interesting.
Why is it that whenever I go out to a restaurant or a cafe, everyone else orders something that's better than what I ordered every time?
Because you're a loyalist, right? You always order your cappuccino.
I think that's what it is. I love cappuccino, and I really should try other things. So next time I'll go for something. I'll go for something like this triple layer mocha with green tea at the bottom.
Yeah, it looks awesome. With a steel straw.
Oh wow, steel.
Yeah, steel straw.
That is very
Because
cool.
in Malaysia, I think they ban all the plastics.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is the alternative.
Okay. Well, the camera is being turned off, and I'm going to enjoy my cappuccino. I'll report back on it later on. My coffee at Vintage 1988 Cafe with Daryl from Wander Eats is over. So I'm going to ask Daryl, since he's the expert when it comes to food and drinks and restaurants, what he thinks of the place. What's his verdict?
Hi.
Daryl, what do you think of Vintage 1988?
I love this place. I think the atmosphere, the coffee is great, the drinks are great. Didn't have the food though.
Right.
But I love this place. I'll be back again in a heartbeat. Maybe next time when we get back to Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah. Yeah, if we come back, I won't order a cappuccino. I'll get one of the fancier drinks and maybe something to eat. But yeah, I agree with you. I really like this place. I like the seating. They have a lot of like different types of seating, and I kind of like that. And the name of the place is Vintage,
Right.
so they have a lot of vintage objects
Even
around.
the typewriter in the back, if you can see that.
Right. Yeah, he's pointing out there's like a desk over here with an old typewriter, old style
Bicycle.
phone, bicycle, stuff like that. So I'm just going to take a quick walk around the cafe and kind of look at some of these vintage things. And then I think since we've been here talking for a long time,
Yeah.
it's time for us to get out of here. But I'm going to show you a little bit more of this cafe, and then we're going to get out of here. Here is the vintage desk that we were pointing out. Old keys, typewriter, and even old school abacus on there. I don't know if you can sit here and have your coffee, but that would be kind of nice to do. And what I really like about this place is all the different seating possibilities. You know, you can sit here at the counter, and they've got all these little cubby holes here, very casual, little pillows to sit on near the windows, which is kind of nice. And then they have all the individual tables, and then back there they have kind of a communal counter space. You know, I really like that. I like cafes that have things like this, because if you stay in a cafe for a long time working on your computer or reading a book or something, you feel a bit guilty that you're occupying a table. But if you have like a communal area like that, I think you can sit at the table for a long time, work on your computer, and you don't feel like you're occupying the whole space, because anyone could sit down beside you. So I really like that. Got another vintage display behind me here. Welcome to the good old days. Piano, sofa, And I imagine you could even sit here at the sofa. They got a table here. Yeah, you could probably sit here and have your coffee as well. I think that is it for Vintage 1988 Cafe. Daryl and I are going to head out and probably go our separate ways. Me back to my hostel, Daryl back to his home.
Yep.
And I think I'm actually going to end the video there. Yeah, started off by checking out my new wireless Rode Go microphone down by the river, and I'm feeling pretty good about that microphone. It works pretty well. Great coffee with the founder of Wander Eats. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. So good.